This video was inspired by another video I made, and I will put a link at the end of the video to that one. And that one was on how to build a porch like this with the same dimensions roughly as a gable roof instead of a hip roof. And I thought I would make one with a hip roof, even though I will not be providing you with step-by-step instructions on how to build it. And the reason for that is because I put a lot of information in the other video and already have created a lot of videos on how to cut the roofs and cut all the parts for a roof like this. And you can find that information at the website. And if you're having a difficult time finding it, let me know and I will put a link in the video description area. So let's go ahead and get started. We are reversing the process here, and I thought I would do something a little different. I built the entire roof with 2x4 rafters and 2x4 ceiling joist. And of course you can use straps here to connect the post to the beam or some type of post and beam connector. And if you notice, we have a board on top of our beams. And this board right here is to raise the 2x4 high enough so that the fascia board works out. We have 2 foot away from the wall to the outside of the fascia board, and we want to have the same distance here. And in order to do that, we needed to add a filler piece. However, you can always raise the beam instead of adding the filler piece, and I would suggest doing that if possible. However, this method here will allow you to put a strap across the top of the plates, where if you raise the beam, the strap will need to go on the face of the wall on the other side here to connect the top plates together. And again, another method that you can choose whether you want to do this one or raise the beam. And for those of you who are not familiar with my channel, I am not trying to provide structural engineering advice. For example, I can't provide you with lumber sizes, even though we have 2x4 rafters and 2x4 ceiling joists in our example, and that will probably work fine in drier climates. However, you might need to use larger framing components like larger roof rafters if you live in colder climates where you're going to be dealing with snow loads. Next up, let's go ahead and put everything back together. And again, I'm just going to kind of take you on a tour here, give you an idea of what it could look like. Again, using all 2x4. And here on the ceiling, depending upon what you're going to be doing, you might need to install some type of backing blocks for the ceiling if you're going to install stucco or some type of panel board. However, if you're going to have all of this open underneath, then you might not need these blocks, and you might not need as many ceiling joists either. And of course, here's a view of the blocks for the rafters, and a view of how the blocks can just simply be nailed into the top plate here for the corner backing there in the ceiling. Next up, let's go ahead and reinstall the sheathing and our new fascia board to provide you with another view of what that might look like. And then of course you're going to need to fill in this area here. And I do have a video on that for installing roof framing fill. That seems to be quite popular, so you might want to check that out. And of course, you're going to want to make sure that everything is straight here. And of course, I wouldn't have mentioned that if it wasn't a problem that even professionals have. And sometimes it looks horrible. So let's make sure that everything dies into everything nice and straight. Make sure that the roof rafters and the fascia board all line up so that the roof sheathing will lay on top of it and allow you to nail the sheathing into the fascia board. And now that we have put everything back together, this brings us to the end of the video. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the video description comment area.